Hello and welcome to Knack Kitchen, where today we are making cardamom and raspberry Linzer cookies. Linzer cookies are something which I've come to know about very recently, but these cookies are perfect for the holiday season and they look absolutely amazing. They're so easy to make that I could not help myself but share this recipe. So without further ado and without making you wait any longer, let's just get into this video. So to make these cookies, we're going to first start by grinding some of our dry ingredients. So here I have a little bit of sugar. Along with that, I have some almond flour. And as far as the spices are concerned, I'm using a little bit of cardamom and a little bit of cinnamon. So now we're just going to grind all of this together in the mixer grinder for about 30 to 40 seconds and not longer because we don't want the almonds to release their oil. So once we have a fine powder which looks like this, we're going to transfer this to a clean bowl. And once it's in our bowl, we're going to go ahead and add some flour. And along with the flour, we'll also add a little bit of baking powder just to give a little rise to these cookies. Moving on from our dry ingredients, I now have some soft butter in a bowl. I like to use a combination of both salted and unsalted butter, but you can go with either. And we're just going to beat this for a couple of minutes so that the butter is light and fluffy. At that point, we are going to go ahead and add some sugar and then cream the butter and sugar together for at least about 2 to 3 minutes until the mixture increases in volume and turns a lot paler in color. And at that point, we're going to go ahead and add some orange zest. And along with the orange zest, we're also going to crack in 1 egg and then mix that all together as well. So now we're going to go ahead and add our dry ingredients, but I like to do this in two parts. So first I add half of the dry ingredients and then mix it first with a spatula and then with my hand mixer just to get a smooth and creamy mixture. And now I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my dry ingredients and ditch the mixer altogether. We are only going to use the spatula now because this is going to be a tougher mixture which is eventually going to come together into a dough. So we will switch over to our hand and bring this all together until we have a soft dough which is not sticking to our hands. So in case your dough seems way too sticky, you can add a little more flour just to adjust. But don't add too much of flour, that will just make your cookies a little tougher. So now we're going to divide the cookie dough in two parts because it will make the rolling a little easier. And then we'll roll one half of the cookie dough first. And we're going to roll this between two pieces of parchment paper just to make it easier. And the thickness will really depend on your preference. I like to roll my cookie doughs about a third of an inch, but you can roll it anywhere between a quarter of an inch to half an inch in terms of thickness. And before we cut it into shapes, we're going to refrigerate the dough. So while the first half of our dough chills, I'm going to roll out the other half as well and refrigerate for at least half an hour. So now we're going to start with the first cookie dough which has adequately chilled, and we'll take out shapes for our cookies. And the only thing to be kept in mind here is that you need an even number of cookies because these are sandwich cookies after all. And here I'm using some circular shapes and also some star shaped ones. You can go with whatever shape you prefer. Now the other thing to be kept in mind is since we have a pair of cookies each for the sandwich, for the top cookie we are going to cut out a smaller piece in the center from where you'll be able to see the jam, and that's what makes these cookies so much more appealing. So after cutting the shapes out, we're going to refrigerate this once again for at least half an hour before we bake these cookies. Now one more thing to be kept in mind while baking the cookies is that you want to bake the base of the cookies first and then you want to bake the top of the cookies which have the cutout because the baking time will vary for both of them. I will leave the details in the description box below. And now for the top of the cookies, the ones with the cutout, we are going to dust it with some icing sugar which is just going to add to the visual appeal. But that is optional, so you can skip that if you prefer to. And now we're just going to add the jam to the base of our cookies, and I'm using some store-bought raspberry jam. You can use strawberry jam as well. You can use homemade jam as well. That will go beautifully with these cookies, and you'll get extra brownie points for doing everything from scratch. And now we're just going to place the top of our cookies, and that is about it. Our beautiful Linzer cookies are done and ready to be served. They look absolutely stunning and they are absolutely delicious. The cardamom and raspberry go so well together. These cookies are one for the ages. It's definitely a keeper and they are amazing the day they're served. Now, in case you want to store these cookies, I will suggest that you don't add the jam because that will make the cookies go soft. Again, the details would be in the description box below, so you can check that out. If you like this recipe, please do give a like, share and do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you with another cookie video tomorrow.